In this tutorial, we will look at using desktop publishing with the tools built into Google Docs. I'm much more used to using Microsoft Word, so I might find this a bit of a challenge. It'll be interesting to compare and see if we can arrive at the same quality of result using this free online software. So we start off with our unformatted rules. This is a set of text that will save you having to type anything up. And we have to turn it into a one-page poster. So what we're looking for is something a bit like this. So we want to have a one-page poster with a border around it, a title, some images to break up the text, and neatly numbered paragraphs to tell us what we're allowed to do in the computer labs. So here is the criteria we're aiming for. And we are going to try to do this all from within Google Docs. So, I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to choose Open with Google Docs. And this will give me a ribbon of tools that allow me to format the document. So the first thing I'm going to try is to put in the title. So Computer Lab Rules, and in Word I was able to highlight this and give it a title, and I can do the same thing here, and I could also center that. Now what I'd really like to do now is to be able to put a border around this particular part. So if I was to look at Format and see if we've got a border option, and I can't see any specific. There is paragraph styles, border and shading. It's a lot less sophisticated than the one that was with Microsoft Word. So I want to choose all positions. Can I shift click to choose more than one? I'm not sure what to do with that. The border width we can make maybe 3 points. The border dash, I'm going to make it a dotted line. Color is going to be dark blue. And I'm going to apply that. And you can see that's only come up on one side there. So obviously my borders and shading, I needed to choose something that would be around all of the borders at the same time. And I'm having to apply this using several different clicks for the different parts of it. So I'm not sure if there was an easy way to get that. Can I format the entire page? If I look at maybe page setup, apply to whole document, I can do a page color, I can set some margins, but I can't see an option for putting a border around everything. If I select every single thing and then look at paragraph styles, I think that's maybe only going to apply to a paragraph. Okay, in the meantime I'm going to do the headers and footers. One of the things that we wanted to be able to do was put our name in the header. So if I apply that, and then can I double click up here and put my name so that we know who it belongs to when I print out. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get a page border on. Now in Word, when we wanted numbered bullets, we highlighted all of these starred paragraphs, and then we were able to go to our number list and choose a number style, maybe like this, and that has put numbers on everything, but it's left the stars and it's taken each of these gaps as being their own separate number. So I'm going to have to do some tidying up now, which I didn't have to do with Microsoft Word. So again, maybe not as sophisticated as that paid for software. If I highlight everything, so I can do edit and select all, and then maybe look at paragraph spacing. So I've got something here, line and paragraph spacing. If I go down to single, that's still not enough to nudge it all onto one page. I can add space before a paragraph or space after. Let's try space before, and that just seems to have given me more space. Custom spacing will of course let me look at having maybe 0 before and 4 after. And if I apply that, then that has shoved everything up a little bit here and made it a little bit closer. One trick we can use to fit more on the page is to look at the margins. So if I go to page setup, and instead of having 2.54, that's an inch all the way around, maybe I could get down to 2 and 2 and 1.5 and 1.5, and that will push everything out towards the edge of the page a bit, and therefore it doesn't take up quite as much space. Okay, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try and put on a little bit of a graphic. Can I use an insert menu? I can go to insert and image, and I can search the web. And if I look for shutdown, as I did when I was making a Word version, I can't see how big these are. I can only see the images. So again, that's not as convenient for look at what's going on. I'll maybe just choose this first one here. And if I double click that, it gets inserted in. It's huge. As before, I can drag the corner here to shrink it down a bit. And I guess one of the nice things here is when I click on a picture, my word wrap appears below the picture and makes it much easier to get access to. So that's in line, and I'm going to choose wrap text like so. Maybe just shrink it down a little bit more, move it over, and that's quite similar to what was happening with Word. A little trick, how can we get rid of all these star spaces easily? Well, one of the things that we could do is to highlight all of them, and then I can go to Edit, and I can find and replace. And I want to find star space and replace it with nothing, just replace it with empty. And if I do replace all, you'll see that what it did there was it removed all those extra stars that used to be the bullet points on those rules. Okay, I'm going to come down here, put in another image. So insert image from, I could upload, there's various different options here. I'm going to search the web again, and I'm going to put police badge. And I'll maybe just use this one here, which is actually the US Air Force Police. So again, I can highlight, I can shrink down by grabbing that corner. Notice grabbing a corner lets you shrink it proportionally. If you grab a side or a top or bottom, it lets you stretch the image, which might not really be what you're looking for. So again, I'm going to switch on wrap text on that and move it over here. Let me have a look at how many of the criteria I've hit. The poster is fitting on one page. It's got my name in the header. I've got numbered bullet points and there's gaps between them. The page does not have a decorative border, and I'm going to have a think about how I can achieve that. The title has a separate border we've managed, but it was a bit clumsy. We've got some images in and text wrapping has been used. And I'm going to use the font readable and consistent. Oh, main points should be in bold as well. So a little bit of highlighting. So remember to shut down your computer. And I can just come up to the ribbon here and press bold on that particular rule, for example. Now, one of the things I often see students do is to then highlight everything and then go into the text color and then turn their whole poster into some kind of rainbow. I wouldn't encourage this. You want the text to be consistent, and I accidentally did highlighting there rather than text color. And in particular, you never really want to put yellow text on a white background, because when you print it on a printer, it's going to be virtually unreadable. It's going to be very difficult to see. On screen it might look okay, on a printer it's going to be terrible. This is a very amateurish, very childish kind of formatting. It doesn't look professional, and it's not to be encouraged. So use colour sparingly. What I'd suggest that you do with your colour is you use it to highlight important information. So instead of bold, maybe we could have it bold and red on the key things. So never touch, tamper or remove any cables. That's an important piece. We're going to make it bold and we're going to make it red so that it stands out. And then by using colour sparingly, we actually give it much more impact than turning our page into a rainbow. Okay, so we're going to have one last attempt here. What I might be able to do, if I come into the header here and I insert, and if I go for image search the web, I could maybe look for page border. And then I might be able to find something that is suitable. Maybe this thing here. So if I insert that, and it's appearing in there. If I take it and then put it behind the text, then you can see I have actually been able to put a border onto my page, but it's maybe a little bit difficult to control. I've certainly got a problem now with my margins, and that's definitely too big. But yeah, a more suitable border might have been the way to achieve that by actually sticking a picture in to what we are doing. At the end of the day, the key thing to make is that your poster has to be readable. And there's obviously bits of this where they're running into the margin, so this is not a good design. I can't see my bullet numbers here. If I maybe go to File, Page Setup, and increase the left and right maybe up to 2 and 2, I'll squash them in from the side a bit. I can maybe take my page border, I have to double click here in the header, and then stretch that out a bit. I'm just about getting that onto the page here. But yes, it's probably a little bit on the narrow side and likely to cause problems. Does it all still fit on a page? Just about. If I remove some bits and pieces here, I could use the tab key. Never use the space key to move things in from the side. If I press space lots of times, then when I change my font, it will cause problems. If I press the tab key to move it in, then font changes will not impact its position. This here, text wrapping, causing problems with that paragraph there. Just going to shrink that down a little bit, and that, missing my date here. Move that back, tab it in with the tab key, which is above caps lock on your keyboard. And that's just about good to go. There's obvious problems with where I've placed the title. These are things that you would be looking to fix before you attempted to print. So one last look at the criteria then. Does it fit in one page? Yes, but not very well. Name is in the header, but you can't see it anymore because of the border. The bullet points are numbered. The paragraphs have got gaps. I do have a decorative border, but it's causing all sorts of problems. The title's got a separate border. I've got images with text wrap on them. The fonts are readable, and the main points, I've done a few of them in bold. So I've more or less reached the criteria that I was asked for. Have a go at your own posters, choose the best tools to do the job effectively.